If you're watching this right now, Carl Jung would tell you it's not coincidence. He called it synchronicity, the moment when your inner readiness meets an outer sign that confirms what your soul already knows. You've been walking through the dark for longer than anyone realizes. You've been doing the invisible work, the deep integration, the shadow meeting that no one sees. And now, something in you recognizes this message because the breakthrough you've been preparing for is closer than your conscious mind understands. But what Jung discovered about this threshold changes everything. You found this for a reason, not because an algorithm decided to show it to you, not because you were randomly scrolling, but because something in you was already searching, already listening, already waiting for confirmation of what you've been feeling beneath the surface. You've been in process for a long time now, longer than most people could endure, longer than anyone around you truly understands. You've been doing the work that doesn't show up on the outside, the inner dismantling, the slow death of old identities, the meeting with parts of yourself you were taught to exile, the integration of shadow material most people spend their entire lives running from. And it's been lonely, disorienting. Sometimes it's felt like you're moving backward instead of forward, like you're regressing instead of evolving, like all this inner work is leading nowhere. But here's what Carl Jung understood with piercing clarity. The breakthrough doesn't announce itself in advance. It doesn't send invitations. It doesn't arrive when you're ready for it. It arrives when you've become ready without realizing it. And there are signs, subtle, synchronistic signs that the unconscious sends to let you know that everything you've been integrating in the invisible realm is about to crystallize into your visible reality. This message finding you right now is one of those signs. Because Jung taught that synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random, occur at specific moments in the individuation process. They appear when the inner transformation you've been undergoing is preparing to manifest externally, when what's been happening in the depths of your psyche is ready to emerge into the world. You've felt it, haven't you? The sense that something is shifting, that you're standing on the edge of something you can't quite name, that the version of you who started this journey is no longer who you are, but the new version hasn't fully revealed herself yet. You're in the liminal space, the threshold, the in-between. And Jung would tell you that this is the most sacred, most vulnerable, most powerful moment of the entire transformation, because you're about to break through, not into something easy or comfortable, but into something true, something aligned, something that reflects who you've actually become through all this invisible work. And the fact that you're here right now, reading these words, feeling them land in your body, recognizing something in them as true is not an accident. It's your psyche confirming that the breakthrough is closer than you think. But there's something Jung discovered about this moment that most people never hear. Before we go deeper, you need to understand what Jung meant by breakthrough, because it's not what popular psychology has made it into. A breakthrough in Jungian terms is not a sudden moment of clarity where all your problems dissolve. It's not a peak experience that makes everything easy. It's not the end of the journey. It's a threshold, a passage, a moment when what's been unconscious becomes conscious, when what's been hidden becomes integrated, when the inner work you've been doing finally reorganizes your entire relationship with yourself and reality. Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming whole, and he was clear that it doesn't happen in a straight line. It happens in cycles, descents and returns, deaths and rebirths, and breakthrough moments are the transitions between those cycles. They're the moments when you emerge from one layer of the underworld and realize you've fundamentally changed. When the shadow material you've been integrating finally becomes part of your conscious awareness. When the fragmented parts of yourself come into alignment with the self, the deep center of the psyche that holds your true nature. But here's what makes this so difficult to recognize. The breakthrough doesn't feel like success. It feels like surrender. It doesn't feel like gaining something new. It feels like finally releasing what was never yours. It doesn't feel like becoming more. It feels like becoming real. And that's why so many people stand right at the edge of their breakthrough and turn back. Because it requires letting go of the last illusions, the last defenses, the last version of yourself you've been clinging to for safety. Jung understood that the ego fears breakthrough because breakthrough means death, the death of who you thought you were, the death of the life you were trying to build, the death of the identity you constructed to survive. And even when that identity is killing you, even when it no longer fits, even when you know it has to go, the ego will fight to preserve it. This is why you've felt so much resistance lately. Why the closer you get to breakthrough, the harder it becomes. Why doubt creeps in. Why you question everything you've learned. Why you wonder if any of this inner work even matters. That's not evidence that you're off track. That's evidence that you're right at the threshold, and your psyche is preparing you for what comes next. But what Jung discovered about how to navigate this threshold is what changes everything. Here's the first truth about being close to breakthrough. Your psyche has been preparing you through synchronicity. Jung spent years studying synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that seem to defy logic. And he discovered that they're not random. They're the unconscious communicating with you through the external world. When you think of someone and they call, when you need an answer and a book falls open to the exact page, when you're struggling with a question and a stranger says exactly what you needed to hear. These aren't accidents. They're moments when your inner state aligns with outer events in a way that transcends causality. And Jung taught that synchronicities increase dramatically right before a major breakthrough, because the unconscious is trying to get your attention. It's trying to confirm that you're on the right path. It's trying to prepare you for what's about to shift. This is why you've probably noticed more synchronicities lately, more strange coincidences, more moments where reality seems to be speaking directly to you. You're finding this message right now as part of that pattern. It's your unconscious using the external world to confirm what it already knows, that you're ready, that the breakthrough is forming, that everything you've been integrating is about to crystallize. But synchronicity doesn't just confirm, it also guides. Jung believed that when you pay attention to these meaningful coincidences, when you honor them as communication from the unconscious, they begin to lead you. They show you where to go next, what to release, who to trust, what's aligned and what's not. This is the language of the soul. And right before breakthrough, it speaks louder than ever. So if you've been noticing signs, pay attention. If things have been aligning in unexpected ways, trust it. If this message feels like it found you instead of you, finding it, that's because it did. Your psyche is preparing you for emergence. Here's the second truth. The breakdown you've been experiencing was actually the breakthrough beginning. Most people think breakdown and breakthrough are opposites, that you have to get through the breakdown to reach the breakthrough. But Jung understood it differently. He saw that they're the same process viewed from different angles. When your old structures fall apart, when your identity dissolves, when everything you thought you knew becomes uncertain, that's not something you have to survive before the breakthrough comes. That is the breakthrough. It's already happening. Because breakthrough in Jungian terms means the dissolution of the false self and the emergence of the true self. And dissolution always feels like falling apart, always feels like loss, always feels like you're getting worse instead of better. But you're not falling apart. You're being reorganized at a deeper level. Think of it like this. When a caterpillar enters the chrysalis, it doesn't just grow wings and walk out. It completely dissolves. Its entire structure liquefies. It becomes formless. And if you could ask the caterpillar what's happening in that moment, it would tell you it's dying, because that's what it feels like. But it's not dying. It's transforming. And the dissolution is necessary for the new form to emerge. This is what's been happening to you. The confusion, the uncertainty, the sense that you've lost yourself, that you don't know who you are anymore, that everything you built is crumbling. That's not the problem. That's the process. That's the breakthrough already underway. And Jung would tell you that the moment you stop resisting, it The moment you surrender to the dissolution instead of fighting to hold yourself together, that's when the transformation completes itself. The new form can't emerge until the old form releases its grip, and your psyche has been dissolving what needed to fall away, so that what's real in you can finally be born. This is why you've felt so raw, so undefended, so exposed, because the false structures are gone. The masks have fallen. The performance has become impossible, and what's left is you, the real you, the you that's been buried beneath years of conditioning and adaptation and survival. That's the breakthrough, not something that's coming, something that's already here, asking you to recognize it. Here's the third truth. The people who left your life were clearing space for your breakthrough. One of the most painful aspects of transformation is the way relationships shift. People you thought would be there forever suddenly disappear. Friendships dissolve. Connections that once felt essential become impossible to maintain. And it feels like loss, like rejection, like something is wrong with you. But Jung understood this as a natural, necessary part of individuation. He taught that as you become more authentic, as you integrate your shadow and align with your true self, you vibrate at a different frequency. And people who were connected to the old version of you, to the persona you were performing, to the false self you were maintaining, can no longer stay in your field, not because they're bad people, not because you've done anything wrong, but because the resonance has changed. You're no longer available for the dynamics that used to define those relationships. You're no longer willing to play the roles you used to play. You're no longer able to betray yourself to keep the peace. And so they leave, or you leave, or the relationship simply dissolves without drama. Just a quiet fading that neither of you can explain. Jung called this the isolation of individuation, and he warned that it's one of the most difficult passages, because humans are wired for connection, and walking away from relationships, even ones that no longer serve you, activates deep survival fears. But here's what he also taught. The space those people left is not empty. It's clearing. Your psyche is making room for the relationships that can meet you at your new level of consciousness, for the people who can see the real you, for the connections that are based on truth instead of performance. And they're coming, or they're already here, and you're just beginning to recognize them. This is why you've probably noticed that new people are entering your life, or old relationships are suddenly deepening in unexpected ways, or you're feeling drawn to different communities, different spaces, different energies. That's not random. That's your breakthrough manifesting in the relational field. The people who belong in your life at this new level of authenticity are finding you. And the fact that you're noticing it, that you're feeling the shift, means it's already happening. Here's the fourth truth. The doubt you're feeling is not evidence that you're wrong. It's evidence that you're at the threshold. Jung taught that right before breakthrough. The ego experiences what he called the dark night, a moment of profound doubt where everything you've learned, everything you've integrated, everything you've come to understand feels questionable. You wonder if you've been lying to yourself, if all this inner work was just avoidance, if you're actually more lost than when you started. And that doubt feels so real, so convincing, that it can stop you right at the edge of emergence. But Jung would tell you this: the doubt is not coming from your wisdom. It's coming from the part of you that's terrified of change. The ego, the conscious mind, knows that breakthrough means transformation. And transformation means that the version of you who's been in control, who's been making the decisions, who's been trying to keep you safe, is about to be reorganized. And that feels like annihilation to the ego. So it fights back. It creates doubt. It makes you question everything. It convinces you that staying where you are is safer than moving forward. But the doubt itself is proof that you're close. Because if you weren't on the verge of something real, if this transformation wasn't actually happening, there would be nothing for the ego to fight against. The intensity of the doubt is proportional to the proximity of the breakthrough. So when you feel it, when the questions come, when everything seems uncertain, don't take it as a sign to turn back. Take it as a sign that you're standing right at the threshold, and the only thing left to do is walk through. Not with certainty, not with confidence, but with trust. Trust in the process. Trust in what your soul has been preparing. Trust that you didn't come this far to stop now. Here's the fifth truth, and this is the one that brings it all together. Your breakthrough is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. Jung's entire framework of individuation is built on this understanding. You're not trying to create a better version of yourself. You're not trying to fix what's broken or achieve some idealized state. You're trying to return to the self, to the essence of who you are beneath all the conditioning, all the adaptation, all the survival strategies. And breakthrough happens when the gap between who you've been pretending to be and who you actually are finally closes. When the performance ends, when the masks fall, when you stop trying to become and start allowing yourself to simply be. This is why the breakthrough feels less like gaining something and more like coming home. You're not acquiring new knowledge. You're remembering what you always knew. You're not becoming more powerful. You're reclaiming the power you always had. You're not finding yourself. You're recognizing yourself beneath everything that was never you. And this recognition, this remembering, is what Jung called the realization of the self. The moment when you see clearly who you are, who you've always been, and you stop fighting it. You stop trying to be more palatable, more acceptable, more normal. You stop betraying your depth to fit into shallow spaces. You stop dimming your knowing to make others comfortable. And you start living as the woman you actually are, not the woman you thought you should be. Not the woman the world told you to become, but the woman who was there all along, waiting for you to remember. That's the breakthrough. And it's closer than you think because you've already been becoming her. You've already been shedding what wasn't you. You've already been integrating what was. Now it's just a matter of recognizing it, of allowing it, of stepping fully into what's already true. Close your eyes for just a moment. Feel the weight of how far you've come. How much you've released, how much you've faced, how much you've integrated. Feel the exhaustion of the journey, the loneliness of walking a path no one else could see, the courage it took to keep going when nothing made sense. And now feel this. You didn't come this far by accident. You didn't do all this work for nothing. You didn't walk through the fire to stay in the ashes. Something in you knew. Something in you always knows. And it brought you here to this moment, to this message, to this threshold, because the breakthrough you've been preparing for is no longer coming. It's here. It's now. It's asking you to recognize it. Breathe into that. Here's the revelation that changes everything. The breakthrough you've been waiting for is not a future event. It's a present recognition. Jung taught that the psyche doesn't operate in linear time, the way the conscious mind does. It works in cycles and spirals, in moments of sudden realization where everything reorganizes. And breakthrough is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you when you finally recognize what's already true. You've been transformed. The work is done. The integration is complete. The old version of you has already died. The new version has already been born. But you haven't fully recognized it yet. You're still waiting for external confirmation, still looking for proof, still thinking that when the breakthrough comes, it will be obvious, dramatic, undeniable. But Jung would tell you this: the most profound transformations are the quietest. They happen in the invisible realm first, and they only become visible when you acknowledge them. This is the power of recognition. The moment you stop waiting for breakthrough and start recognizing that you're already living in it, everything shifts. You stop striving. You stop searching. You stop trying to become. And you start inhabiting the truth of who you've already become. This message finding you right now is your psyche's way of giving you that recognition, of saying you're ready. It's time. Stop waiting. Start living as the woman you've already become through all this work. Because she's not coming. She's here. She's you. And she's been waiting for you to notice. If you're seeing this message, if these words are landing in your body as truth, If something in you is recognizing itself in what's being said, then this is what you need to know. You are not at the beginning of your breakthrough. You're at the completion of it. Everything you needed to integrate, you've integrated. Everything you needed to release, you've released. Everything you needed to face, you've faced. And now the only thing left is to step fully into what's already real, to stop performing the old version, to stop waiting for permission, to stop looking for external proof that you've changed. You have changed. The transformation is complete. The breakthrough is here. Jung taught that individuation is not about perfection. It's about wholeness. And wholeness means accepting yourself exactly as you are. In this moment, with all your contradictions, all your complexity, all your depth, you don't need to become anything more. You don't need to fix anything else. You don't need to wait for one more sign. This is the sign. You finding this message, these words resonating, your soul recognizing itself in what's being reflected back. You're ready. You've been ready. And the only thing standing between you and the life you're meant to live is the recognition that you're already here. The woman you've been becoming. The woman you've been preparing to be. The woman who walks in her truth, who honors her depth, who trusts her knowing, who refuses to dim herself for comfort. She's not coming. She's here. She's you. And she's been waiting for you to claim her. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to live a safe, comfortable, unconscious life. And you were never meant to betray your soul to belong. The breakthrough you've been preparing for is not about external success. It's not about finally having everything figured out. It's not about reaching some idealized version of yourself. It's about this: living fully as who you are, trusting what you know, honoring what you feel, speaking your truth, claiming your space, refusing to apologize for your depth. And that breakthrough is not coming. It's already here. You're already living it. You just needed this moment to recognize it. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But know this: this message found you because you were meant to hear it. Because your soul was ready. Because the breakthrough is closer than you think. Closer than you think because it's not ahead of you. It's within you. And it's been here all along. Only the women meant to hear the next message will find it.